Hi, this is Troy from Full-Gamut Defense Arts. One more time today with Joe from Ninja Tank Martial Arts. And this one, we wanted to talk about respecting other people's martial arts.
Yep.
We see a lot of people, especially from certain schools, I'm not going to diss them, but certain styles, certain arts, where they're very disrespectful of other people's arts. Basically disregarding them altogether like they're completely useless.
Let me give you an example. My art's the best art. I don't know why anybody else would take another martial art.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
I don't understand it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, or that's all just useless crap. It's
Yes.
just flowery whatever.
Yeah.
You know, talking about stuff like that. It's like, if I got you on the ground, you'd be absolutely, I'd just waste you instantly.
Yep.
My first instructor, Hyundai Carl Quigg, always said there is no best art.
I agree.
It comes down to the practitioner. You can be in, let's pull one out, you can be a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guy who can just destroy people on the mat. You get out on the street and one punch and you're gone.
Yep.
You're done. On any given day, I don't care who you are, if you are Conor McGregor, if somebody catches him right, he's going down with one shot.
Yep.
There's always somebody that can beat you, and it could be the big tubby guy with no training that just caught you right that day.
Yep.
So it behooves you to be more respectful. Even if you don't like the art, you think it's useless, at least just show them the respect that they're actually taking the time to get out and train, regardless of what it's in.
Yep. A big example on this is I've been watching UFC since it started, I believe in 93 or 95, I don't remember when, but it was a little bit of a gap, and I was about 10 when I started watching it, and it was Jiu-Jitsu's king, no other martial art, they'll say karate's useless. Flash forward to Lyoto Machida, Stephen Thompson, Michael Venom Page. You're seeing these guys that are karate practitioners that are tearing it up.
Yeah.
It just took them getting some ground technique and just learning some other stuff to mix it to make theirs more effective. So you can't discount any martial art. And one of my martial arts, capoeira, one of my teachers ended up becoming one of the more well-known fighters in capoeira, Marcus Lalo Aurelio, and knocking people out and making it to Bellator and fighting in Japan, and is very effective with it. So you cannot discredit any martial art. Every martial art has use.
Right.
And it might work differently for different individuals. Somebody might just start training a martial art and this one just catches with them better. Yeah. They feel an attraction to this martial art more than any of the others.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it might work well for their body as well,
right.
The way that their body works.
And we're not saying there are plenty of McDojos out there.
Yes.
There are plenty of them. And Tai Chi, that's one of my main arts, has been for 30 of the 42 years I've been in martial arts. And the vast majority of Tai Chi out there, especially in the US, people, they train, or they practice it for health.
Yes.
They want to lower their blood pressure, they want to have better balance, they want to relax and relieve stress. That's all great. That all is part of Tai Chi. They don't even train in the martial art, and that's fine too. It kind of bothers me that there are not more of us that train it as a martial art.
Yes.
But it is what it is. Just like, Billy Blanks came out with his Taibo a long time ago.
Cardio kickboxing,
and it was cardio kickboxing, and he had his version of that. And people were getting a great workout using martial arts technique, but they weren't learning how to fight. I get that. Even so, they're out there, they're doing it. And that to me is more important than which style, which art, who they're training with, who's your teacher. If you're going to look at me and go, oh, well, your teacher was an American, you must not be any good.
Right. I understand exactly what you're saying. Yeah, it's just, the thing is I can also tell you from experience about judging other martial arts, okay? Of being a young, arrogant kid. I started when I was 12, and there's a lot of learning and growing up to do. And there was a lot of, for instance, I wasn't respectful of boxing, Well, I got humbled by a boxer one time, and I'm like, I better learn some just straight up boxing because I was just doing Muay Thai because they were just a little bit better with their boxing. Or I at one point was criticizing Taekwondo, and then I met a guy that made it to Worlds. This was really young, by the way. And I trained with him for a bit, and I'm like, wow, this guy is incredible in his discipline. And you can learn something from everybody, every art. One of the great things about when I've worked with Troy is he's more of the Chinese martial arts as well as some karate, and I've been picking up stuff. You have to keep an open mind.
Yeah.
It's like what Bruce Lee said about trying all the martial arts and grabbing what works for you, but there should be no disrespecting of any of the martial arts, saying that that art is no good and mine's better, and it's really not getting you anywhere or anyone else anywhere as well. It's just, you can learn a lot from each other. So.
Yeah. And you may want to go around and try some different arts to find out which one's going to work for you. Like, there's a local Aikido school here in town. I tried to train there, and I just wasn't. I wasn't compatible with those teachers. It wasn't because they were bad teachers or bad people or anything. I wasn't compatible with them. Their teaching style just didn't mesh with me. And even though I've got decades of experience in martial arts, I just was not getting that art. But at the same time, 20 years ago, when I lived in St. Louis, I took seminars in Aikido with friends of mine who were teachers, and man, I learned more in a 1-hour class with some of those guys than I learned in like an 8-week course that I took at the school here.
Yes. Absolutely, and going along with your point, and there's also that a lot of times people take their bad experiences with them where they'll try an art and maybe the school wasn't very good and then they judge that art based on that experience they had with them.
Exactly.
And I actually am guilty of that. I don't say that I've been doing martial arts since I was 5 because I took karate style. I believe Shotokan it was, or a version of Shotokan, and I did not like it, and it wasn't until I started taking Muay Thai when I was 12. But that left a bad influence on karate, and then I actually meet somebody from Japan that took various karate styles, and he changed my mind on the art. So again, that's a judgment of mine from the teachers weren't meshing, and it wasn't anything that I was interested in at the time. But that's the thing, is you can't judge that off of your first experience as well. So.
Right. I mean, just more further examples, but I've trained in Wing Chun with 2 different teachers. Briefly, I'm not a Wing Chun guy. I love the art, but I've not trained extensively in it. But I trained with 2 different teachers. One, I did not like him at all, and if I hadn't tried it again with somebody else, I wouldn't like the art. I would have a very poor view of it. But the other guy just completely changed my mind. He was phenomenal. Unfortunately, he's in Detroit, and I'm not.
Yeah, it's too bad when that happens as well, yeah. And everybody that's watching this with the ground arts, saying that your ground arts is the best, American freestyle is the best, judo is the best, sambo is the best, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, there's more of the American styles of jiu-jitsu now that are coming around. A lot of these American guys are doing very well, Eddie Bravo. Probably the best guy in the world is American right now at jiu-jitsu. You can see how things evolve and change. Used to be the best jiu-jitsu was always a Brazilian, now it's an American. And he's just dominating. And so that's the thing about, is judo the best, is sambo the best, is freestyle wrestling the best, Greco-Roman the best? Well, you're right on all of them. They're all the best. Try them all out, and I guarantee you'll learn.
They're all best for somebody.
Yes.
Or they wouldn't exist.
Absolutely. And that's another thing about Bruce Lee. Like I said, he was be like water. Try different things. Try different arts. It's done nothing but benefit me when I've tried all these. I always go in with an open mind. I was just talking to you earlier about Dan Inosanto. One of the people that Bruce Lee allowed to teach Jeet Kune Do one of his students said, Dan Inosanto is always willing to put the white belt on. Always willing to go and try that next style and further his knowledge, because you could be missing things that could change everything for you, really.
I have learned a ton from just filming occasionally with Joe.
I've learned a ton from him. I'll actually go back, and I was telling him this, I'll actually go back and watch the movements that he's teaching, because I'm learning. So, very important. Yeah, it's awesome.
All right. So, be respectful.
Yes. I agree. Yep, be respectful, enjoy your training. And we're just talking about train every day. Even if it's a little bit, it'll make all the difference in the world.
So, Don't just train in class.
Yes, exactly right. Yeah.
All right. Thank you.